Hello everyone and welcome to the Football Brisbane edition of the Village Law SEQFC preview show. My name is Darren, I am the host. We've got two guests with us this evening. We've got Pato, the coach at Ripley Valley. G'day mate, how are you?
Yeah, good mate.
Good stuff. And we've got Josh Hempstead, who is the coach at Newmarket. Hello Josh.
Hey boys, how you going?
Good. Great to have you both with us. Now, let's have a look at last weekend's first in the Brisbane Premier League. Mercavat had a 3-1 win over Centenary Stormers. The big derby between Brisbane Knights and St George, a 4-0 convincing win to St George. Bayside and Toowong had a 2-2 draw. SEQFC had a 2-0 win over Acacia Ridge. Good win for them. And I know that the Lakes had a 2-1 victory over the Gap. Not sure about Albany Creek and Western Spirit. Do you guys know if that game went ahead or not? Because it's not showing on game day.
That one got postponed, I believe.
Washed away. Okay, no worries. All right, let's have a quick look at the ladder now. And Albany Creek still comfortably on top. The Lakes have moved into second place. So that win on the weekend was important for them. Bayside United still in third. St George menacingly move into fourth place with Toowong equal with them on 10 points. Brisbane Knights on 9. Just having a quick look at the bottom. That was a really important win there for UQFC. Guys, what did you take from the weekend's results? Did you, spend some time with watching a BPL game? Did you look at the highlights? What's your take on it?
Yeah, I'll be honest. I didn't catch much of the BPL at all on the weekend. I was going to get down to watch Spirit versus Albany Creek, but obviously that one got washed out. Like we've said here on the past, I think it's a bit of a one-horse race, and the other teams are trying to make up the final spots. I think the most excitement in that competition will be the relegation spot.
Yeah, not that exciting at the moment. The Gap on 0 points, still yet to register a win. Only 3 goals scored in their 5 games so far. Although that should be updated, 4 goals with their 2-1 loss on the weekend. So
2 to go down, obviously.
Yeah, those semi-final spots would be interesting. And St George, if that results, they've got all their players back now after that incident up against Mercavat. So if they're going to make a move, now's the time for them to do so, you'd think.
Yeah, look, we picked up a good lad from St George this week. I'm not sure things are all rosy down there at the moment, but results speak otherwise. If they get back to their best, they'll definitely be a force to reckon with. But I'm not sure they've got the depth to match it with Creek for the long term.
Care to name names?
Jared Norfolk was our pickup this week. So, yeah, very good pickup for us, and looking forward to see what he can do for us.
Where are you going to play him?
He'll play in the front 3. He played the weekend. I think he's been playing a little bit deeper for St George over the last 18 months. So I think it'll take him a little time to adjust in that front 3. But, I don't think it'll be too long before he starts netting a few for us.
So if you're going to play him in a more forward role, is that because of his desires? Is it your need?
A little from column A, a little from column B. Like I mentioned to you briefly before, we had 20 unavailable on the weekend from our squad of 36. So it's something I've never seen before in my coaching time. But we'll roll through it, and we'll hopefully come out the other side better for it.
Was there a festival on the weekend or something?
No, sadly, most of them are injuries. There was one away for a Bucks party. I know Leo was in the same boat at Pine Hills. Had a few missing, a couple with the Bucks party and a few injuries. But, for us to have 20 of our 36 unavailable was, something I've never seen before. So,
yeah, that's tough. What about you, Josh? Did you cast an eye over the results?
No, I just saw the Willawong and the Knights highlights, and that looked pretty one way. But the Gap and North Lakes mustn't be a bad result for the Gap if North Lakes are second and the Gap's last. Like 2-1's not a bad result, I wouldn't think, for the Gap then in that case.
Yeah, it should be encouraging for them. the Gap have got some quality players in their squad. So, the Lakes have got some quality players in their squad. So for the Gap to only lose by 1 goal, it's maybe something they can build on. They're taking on Albany Creek next weekend, this weekend. So it's not going to get any easier for them, unfortunately. We'll have a look at the other fixtures. Western Spirit are hosting Acacia Ridge. Should be an interesting game, that one. Mount Gravatt up against Brisbane Knights. I like that one too. Toowong up against St George. We've got some great games this weekend. SEQFC up against Bayside and Centenary Stormers up against the Lakes. Wow. There's about 5 games that I could very easily go to there. I'll pick out Toowong up against St George. That's the real interesting one there for me.
Where's it at?
Yeah, be interesting if St George are back to full strength and a bit of a run with it now. That'll be a good indication. Toowong been hot and cold, I think, with some of their results, but they're a good side. So we'll see how good St George are at the moment.
Exactly. All right, guys, let's go to your position of strength. Let's go to Capital League 1. And on the weekend, Annerley and Slacks Creek had a 1-1 draw. New Farm 1, Logan Metro 3. Moggle 2, AC Carina 3. New coach syndrome. Liam So goes, and then Carina win 2 in a row. Now, Ripley against Pine Hills was a 1-4 loss for you there, Pato. And Josh, you say that Newmarket had a 3-0 win over the Bulls?
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Tell us about your game, Josh.
Mate, it was a good game. I think first half it could have been either 2-2 or it could have been 5-0. Really, we had some big chances that we missed, but so did they. So they had a couple of one-on-ones that they missed, but we played some real good footy, especially in the attacking half. Some real nice, some one-touch play, which was probably most, pleasing for me to watch, especially doing it in their half. We were able to keep the ball quite nicely around their box and create some chances. Second half, we had a goal disallowed from offside, which was probably highly debatable, but that happens. And then we got another one, and it was sort of a bit of, that they still had some handy players that caused some trouble though. So I don't think they should be taken lightly, because they do have some players that can cause some trouble, especially if some boys have, some off days, or they go there thinking, hey, lower of the table, they've had a few games where they've had some goals banged against them. This could be a walk in the park. If anyone goes there thinking that, or even when they go to their grounds, they'll be in for a bit of a shock, I think.
Looking at the table, Josh, you're top.
Yeah, it's early days, mate. Early days. But the boys are super keen to be there. Like, it's obviously being top, you're going to have some very happy people, but we just got to keep them level. There's a long way to go, and it puts a bit of a target, I guess, on your back. But the lads seem, they're really confident and they're super excited. So I think if they keep that about them and keep playing their footy, they'll have a great year on the field.
What's the highest? Do you know that the highest level that Newmarket have ever been as a club?
No, I actually think the president, Paul Tatters, was saying at one stage they were offered to go into the 4X league, I think, and I don't know what happened. So I don't know if they were quite high. It's obviously going back some time. I know they have been in Cap 1 before. I'm not sure if they were in the BPL prior to that, in recent years anyway. But the last 5 or so years, they've been in that Cap 2 realm.
There we go. So exciting times there at Newmarket.
Mm.
And Pato, you said you had 20 players away on the weekend. You're still finding your feet in this competition.
Yeah, look, obviously we set our standards very high. We expect to be a little bit higher than what we are at the moment, but player injuries and, look at games against Pine Hills on the weekend. We had a really good chance for a 1-on-1 early doors, and you put that away, it changes the flow of the game straight away. But we're struggling to score first half goals, struggling to when we're on top put teams away. And then we've just got these lapses that we need to get out of their game at the moment. So I know we've still got 15, 16 out this week. A lot of those experienced players, but I'm still confident with the 11 that I put out that we can get a job done. Coming up against Sammy Silver this weekend, who's won 2 from 2, as you're saying, taking over from Liam Safe. So Sammy will be keen to keep that run going, but we need to get points on the board and we need to get them quickly. So no holds barred this weekend. Funnily enough, we've got him in the Cup following Wednesday as well. So play him twice in 3 days, 4 days.
That happens a lot, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. Surprisingly, I remember last season, 2 seasons ago, we had Bayside when I was at Tringa, Bayside three times in a week. So yeah, it's crazy.
Looking at the other fixtures, Pine Hills are hosting North Pine. That should be a cracker. Logan Metro play Annerley. Slacks Creek are playing Ipswich City Bulls. Newmarket up against Moggle. That should be a tricky game, Joshua.
Yeah, it'll mate, they're all tricky games. Every team's had some real good strong points, but Moggle coming off a beat, I'm sure off a defeat, I'm sure they'll be hungry. We played them, last year, which sort of kind of gives us a rough guide on what to go to. But really, we'll worry about ourselves. We'll put out our best squad and we'll set up focusing on what we've been wanting to focus on. And as the week's been going on, and we'll do that week in, week out against no matter who we're playing.
Yeah, might sneak out to that Pine Hills game. That could be an interesting one there. Let's have a look at Capital League 2. Redcliffe PCYC, a massive 4-1 win over Narangba on the weekend. North Brisbane 3-1 over Clairvaux. Oxley United 2-0 over Springfield United. Willowburn got their first win of the season with a win over Westside. And Barden, Latrobe and KPR, not sure. Game day isn't updated. Could have been washed out. Could have still happened. Don't know. Let's have a look at the ladder. When we click things over, North Brisbane are on top. Your neighbours, Josh. It's all happening in the North Pocket.
Must be something in the water.
Must be. Undefeated after 4 rounds. Springfield United in second with Clairvaux, KPR, Oxley, and Redcliffe PCYC. As I mentioned, Willowburn getting off the mark now. That puts Westside on bottom of the ladder. Looking at this weekend's fixtures, we've got KPR up against North Brisbane, Redcliffe PCYC up against Oxley United, Clairvaux play Willowburn, Springfield United up against Barden Latrobe, and Westside play Narangba. Redcliffe PCYC and Oxley United, that's the game that sticks out for me as an interesting one. Guys, I just want to throw this one out to you. I'm not sure how much knowledge you have of Oxley United, but should they be a bigger club than they are?
Oh, for me, they have trouble, luring players. I think there's so many clubs sort of in and around that area. I've failed to see them add real quality over the years. They've obviously remember when Will Jordan was there, they had a decent squad, and that's probably the highest they played. They were up near the top of Cap Sue back before the restructure. But I don't know if anyone's any good out that way. They seem to get snavelled up by another club nearby. So I'm not sure whether the boys don't like playing the day games out there. Obviously, they don't have the lights. So they got a great result against Springfield on the weekend, which was a surprise to me. So I'll be interested to see if Springfield hit back this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, there's one of those clubs that when you go out there, you think, there's so much space. They've got so much to work with. And never, I don't know whether it's they're just unsuccessful in getting the grants or the support from the government. But I don't know. I go there, I just see potential. And obviously in the old club too, and it just hasn't been realised over the years. So good luck, Oxley. Hope you get that crawl up the ladder. All right, let's move on to Capital League 3. Tarragindi are on top with Park Ridge and Ridge Hills. And Brighton Bulldogs making up the top 4. Let's go to the weekend's results. Pine Rivers had a 4-3 win over Brighton. Bethania a 3-2 win over Jimmy. Tarragindi 4-3 over Logan Village. Parkridge 4-2 over Teviot Downs. Unsure of the result between D-Bay and Rich Hills. Plenty of goals in Capital League 3. All right, let's have a look at this weekend's fixtures. Jimmy up against Tarragindi, of course, referring to Jim Boomba United. I do call them Jimmy every week. Rich Hills host Park Ridge. Logan Village up against Pine Rivers. That should be a good game. Teviot Downs up against Bethania, and Brighton hosting D-Bay. Guys, I know you probably have limited knowledge of the teams this far down the ladder. Any games that stick out for you there?
You're saying Park Ridge and Ridge Hills, they're second and third, or you were saying?
Yeah. So looking at the ladder, so Ridge Hills, second against third.
Should be a contest then.
Should be. Battle of the Ridge.
Yeah.
What about you, Pato? Now that you're out of Capital League 3, you're only looking upwards, not downwards?
Yeah, don't tend to look downwards. The only one we keep a close eye on Springfield these days, because we've struck up quite the rivalry. So, they're the only ones I sort of look down at. And, we try to look ahead.
Good stuff. We've noticed with Liam on the FQ shows that he's quite an Ipswich proud guest that we have on the show. Do you take in results of all the clubs nearby? Do you support them? Do you want them? What's your feeling with all the other clubs? Are there some clubs that you've got a good relationship better than others?
Look, I've actually played for Bulls, Spirit, and obviously Ripley, Knights. So I've been around all of them. I've won stuff with all of them. I keep a close eye on all of them. I think the Ipswich Derby's on next Friday night, which is always a good contest to go out and watch between Knights and Pride. So we've got a great rapport with the people up at Pride. I get along with a lot of people out at Ipswich Knights. So it's always good to see them doing well. As an Ipswich person, I'd love to see one of these clubs back up in the NPL. But I think it's hard with the two clubs sort of fighting off in FQPL. It's going to be a lot harder for that one club to stand alone and go up there and take that NPL scalp. It'd be good if they'd all stick together and promote one club out there, but everyone's got their own agendas and they're all doing great individually. So, it is what it is.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, I mean, your club further diluted the mix, didn't it? We did.
What can I say? We've got our own agendas. We've got our own focus. Yeah, we'll just keep doing what we do.
Sure. Do you look at the clubs out there? Do you think there are too many clubs in Ipswich? Do you think that there's a case for two clubs to merge, or do you think it's just about right?
Oh, look, I don't think there's too many clubs. I just think to compete at that NPL level, none of the clubs in Ipswich have got the budget to go that next step. I thought Pride had a perfect opportunity when they went on and won the grand final. That might have been the kick on they needed to draw in the big bucks and keep players and move forward. But it's just not the case. I mean, it's a rugby league town, always has been. Hopefully we're trying to shift the focus a little bit to being a football town. But I just don't think the corporate dollars are here to support that NPL venture. So, like I said, each club are doing themselves proud and doing well for each division they're in. I mean, a lot of them have got plenty of juniors. So there's a big football presence out here in Ipswich. But, I just can't see that NPL thing happening anytime soon. I hope I'm proven wrong, but, I just don't think the corporate dollars here to match the big boys in that NPL at the moment.
And Ipswich is also really strong in the Christian League as well. So you've got those clubs battling for the sponsorship dollars too.
Yeah, for sure. There's plenty of Christian clubs out here. I don't know much about that space, but yeah, I mean, it just further dilutes the playing pool. So it's great that everyone's playing the world game this way. But I just wish we had the financial support from the big companies to back it.
Exactly. Josh, how does Newmarket go chasing the corporate dollar? I mean, you're in a pretty similar situation. You've got a lot of clubs around you. How do you go getting those bucks in?
Mate, to be honest, I don't have a lot to do with it. I sort of, being my first year in the role, I've got one sort of, which is the team and the squad and game day. But I know this year they've sort of had a bit of a help with one of our players, and I think it's going quite well. But I try and still pretty fair with it and just focus on what I can.
All right. Josh, I hope that the people at home heard you, because I didn't quite hear your answer then.
Sorry, did it drop out there?
It did. I might just get you to repeat it just in case.
Yeah, sorry. No, I was just saying, like, I don't have too much involvement in that area. I know this year one of our players has started helping out in that side with the club with sponsorship, but I don't know a lot about it. Look, I sort of got one job, and that's sort of week in, week out with the boys and with the squad. But I'm sure, they're trying hard. I'm sure they're trying really hard.
Do you have a player budget? Do you play players?
No. I mean, we got a budget for what we can do, but no, nothing like you hear sometimes. But what do you know what to believe anyway?
Exactly. Pato, I'm guessing you're in the same boat as well?
Yeah, no budget for us, mate. I know clubs down to Cap 3 are offering money. It'd be nice to have those luxuries, but we don't. We've just built on culture. As I remember Chris Nelson was saying out at Moggle, they're in a similar boat. You just got to build that culture and hope players will come. We've been lucky enough to drag some really good players across in our short existence. So we just hope the culture is enough to keep dragging players in, and the quality brand of football that we produce is enough to keep getting the boys in through the door. So yeah, it'd be nice to have a budget.
Yeah, well, all that money must obviously go to the coaches at these two clubs, eh?
Definitely not.
All right, we might leave it there, guys. Thank you so much for your time this evening.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers. Thanks for having us.
Good luck on the weekend. This has been the Football Brisbane edition of the SEQFC preview show. We could talk about the FFA Cup. There's no Football Brisbane clubs in there, so we'll let that one slide and leave that for the other shows to talk about. We will see you next week.